I'm trying to get into a shelter. When do you do it?
Say that again.
When do you do the shelter referral?
I do it as soon as you sign in.
Oh, okay. Oh, you just refer information, or do you place?
Say that again.
Do you place someone in a shelter, or you just give them information?
So the complete process would be I submit the referral. The referral goes to a matcher, and he matches you, or she matches you.
Okay.
Once they do that, the information comes back to me. Then I contact the location, contact you, schedule the intake, and then I'll take you there.
Okay. I'm in a domestic violence crisis.
Say that again.
I'm in a domestic violence crisis.
You're in a domestic violence crisis.
I need to be in a domestic violence shelter.
What does that mean to you exactly?
Just any domestic violence shelter.
You need a domestic violence shelter. So have you contacted domestic violence shelters?
I was going to let you do it because you said that's what you do. I have, and I can't get them.
So I do shelter referrals to interim housing, not specifically to domestic violence shelters.
No one does it, period, on the planet. Because, I mean, they help you get when it's homeless. But no one will help me get in a domestic violence shelter for like 10 years. And I was getting drug out of domestic violence shelters and arrested at them, trying to get in them. I just find it mysterious that nobody will help me, but they'll help you get in homeless shelters, but they won't help you flee abuse, period.
Yeah, because shelter is for homeless. So you are if you're saying like I'm a domestic violence victim, doesn't necessarily mean you're homeless, but you can be both. So like if you are requesting specifically to go to a domestic violence shelter, that is would be like a specific process through a domestic violence like hotlines and so on and so forth, because their shelters doesn't necessarily operate with this system that's here.
Oh, because when I first got in my crisis, people helped, and now they demand that you get on your phone, and I've been getting on my phone for 10 years to get nowhere, and they leave me in my crisis. And I'm trying to prove that my environments are prearranged to leave me in my environments on purpose.
So how long has this crisis been happening?
It's been like 10 years. And the police department used to come, and now each location I'm at, they're strategizing with people to leave me in the crisis and keep me from housing. I'm trying to prove it. The FBI investigates housing discrimination. And I know I'm being discriminated against. I'm just trying to prove it. Not everybody don't help you. They're just not helping me. And I'm trying to prove it. So what their con is that if you're homeless, you're more important. And then women fleeing abuse, you're left in it and you can't get into shelter. So that's what it is with me.
No. So the separation between those things is not that if you're homeless, you're more important. It's just
it is for me. I'm not really being heard. For me, homeless people have priority, and women fleeing abuse can't get help to flee abuse, period.
Yeah.
So if you're homeless, they can put you in a homeless shelter sometime. Sometime they won't. So, but if you're fleeing abuse, you can't get it as period. I would think would take priority because that's dangerous.
Well, the thing is that if you go into a homeless outreach or a homeless location and you're saying like, hey, I'm experiencing domestic violence and I want domestic violence help, that's the wrong avenue to seek that type of help. So domestic violence help would be through domestic violence, either hotlines and domestic violence shelters. So one avenue doesn't necessarily lead to the other one.
I'm just not quite certain that Salvation Army actually has its own domestic violence shelters. Why is everybody keeping me from them and knowledge?
So what I do referrals to is multiple shelters, not necessarily Salvation Army locations.
Right, but Salvation Army has its own domestic violence shelters, and all locations that I've been to seeking help to flee abuse has deprived me of it, except with Salvation Army.
So you've called to the Salvation Army?
I've been at them and called. And Salvation Army has its own domestic violence shelters, and I could actually get in a place in a domestic violence organization in-house, but nobody will do it. They keep referring me other places to get nowhere.
Are there other people in those locations?
If you're Salvation Army, I don't really know which organizations that you have for the domestic
what I mean
violence.
is, are there other people in those locations you're trying to get to? You went to a place, a Salvation Army location.
I'm new to this area. That's why I'm seeking the information from you. And you don't have in-house services. It has to be somewhere else, and you're with Salvation Army.
What I do is referrals. Like what I do is referrals.
So you don't want people going to your own organization?
In order to get let me. I think you're not like understanding what like I specifically do. And what I do is referrals. Though I work for Salvation Army, I do referrals like anyone that's experiencing homelessness, whether they're domestic violence or not, as long as they're experiencing
my question is, I get what you do, but if the person is requesting to use Salvation Army, they can?
Anybody can use Salvation Army.
You just can't help them.
It depends on what exactly it is that you want. If you asking to go to domestic violence shelter because of a domestic violence situation.
How about, do you have information for your domestic violence shelter in your Salvation Army?
I could pull it for you.
Oh,
if
that
that's
would be
what
good.
You want.
Yeah. Because it hasn't happened in all this time, and I'm trying to prove it. That someone has deliberately interrupted my ability to play with every possibility I come in contact with. It wasn't here. I just wanted to know the ones that you have here. I haven't went to anyone here. I'm seeking to know which one is the closest one that is for domestic violence. And I'm disappointed that Salvation Army can't get you into their own shelters. You have to go get out to another location.
For homelessness.
Yeah, I would think that case management would help anyone that was in need, not just homeless people, and exclude people that are fleeing abuse.
Well, case management is case specific based on what the situation. You can't go to a homeless case manager.
I don't want to argue. I just want to know the Salvation Army locations that.
I don't even have to talk to you right now, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't understand why people want to flee. Everywhere I'm at wants to argue with me for fleeing abuse.
You are creating an argument. I'm just trying to explain to you either what I'm doing or the avenues that I can help you with. I don't want to argue with you whatsoever.
Oh, well, good. I just want to know the locations that, if I could tell you what I need instead of you telling me what I need.
Oh, well, so another thing, you have a phone and you can.
I can't use my phone. I just want to utilize your services.
And what my services is shelter service for the homeless.
Your Salvation Army, and all I just want to do is get the domestic violence organization. And I'm not quite certain why nobody wants me to have it. With Salvation Army, I'm new to this area.
Well, it sounds to me like the common denominator of the problem.
I gotta take it. It's already prearranged. I'll take your abuse before I flee it. I get it everywhere.
I'm done with you. I'm not no longer.
So you don't want to give me the order?
You're not going to accuse me for anything, and I'm not going to work with you. If you have whatever your complaint is, please take it to Salvation Army's management or something of that nature.
So you're scamming to keep me from, because it happens all the time.
I'm just not working with you whatsoever.
So do you know how many people have schemed? You know how many people have schemed to keep me from?
All right. Have a nice day.
Stage conflict, so they don't get the conspiracy to violate rights charges. I was never going to get the domestic violence organization. Just trying to prove it. This is what's been happening. This is what happens in the shelter. They start arguments so they won't have to tell me. And then they'll set up something like this just to argue and play a mind game just to ruin your day, knowing that you were never going to get help. I just don't understand why so many people hate women that are trying to flee abuse's guts, and how it's a disconnect of you giving me the Salvation Army locations to flee abuse without you having to argue. Because everywhere I'm at wants to argue because I'm trying to flee abuse. And like the police department, they'll leave to enforce abuse. Close up, lock up. To deny services.